Now that we've got this all ready to go, I'm going to start getting the air out of the canopy. Put my knees basically right on the warning label, just a little bit further up from the grommets, pushing the knees together a little bit to help keep everything in place, as well as making sure that it's pushing down. Everything goes away from my body or away from the rig. It helps keep good line tension on the lines and allows me to shape the canopy the way I need to. I kind of take the mindset of getting the canopy to a shape of approximately the same size as the bag, and then I just hold the bag around the canopy while I do that. So what I'm doing here is working with one side of the canopy at a time, getting the air out of it. It's a new canopy, so I need to make sure all the air is out of it. And basically, halfway between this side and this center stitch line, I'm grabbing the canopy and making it fold. Now that I have this, I'm going to take my knees off the canopy, but before I do so, I'm going to put my hand in its place so that I can keep a nice tension on the canopy. I'm going to throw my leg across about halfway from the canopy, and I'm going to grab the canopy with my hand and make my first fold. And then I'm going to come right back and put my knee on the canopy again. Right now I'm not wrestling the canopy, but I am controlling it and keeping it where I want it to be. I'm going to grab the canopy with one hand, both my folds, and rest it up here on my thigh, where I make the rest of the fold for my S-fold. Kind of using my knee in different places to help keep that canopy under control, and I start sliding the bag and the flap underneath. Once I get one side of the canopy in the bag, it's pretty easy for me to get the rest of the bag pulled around the canopy. At this point, I'm going to set the bag up on its end and get ready to make my line stows. Now that I have the canopy in the bag, I can start securing this flap and getting the canopy all the way in it. I do it by splitting the lines in between my middle finger and my index finger to keep them from sliding off from either side of the bag, and I get a good grip on that flap and pull the grommet all the way to that rubber band to make my first stow. I want those stows to be nice and equal, and I want them all to be about the same size. And the first one, I get as much slack out of the lines as I can, and that really helps keep the rest of the line stows nice and neat. So as I get this rubber band through here, I am going to make these nice and symmetrical. The important thing is to make sure that you doing the same thing all the way through the pack job, which is using rubber bands, large rubber bands, and double stowing. This prevents an out-of-sequence deployment as we walk our way through the stowing of the lines. This canopy has fairly long lines because it's so large. You want to make sure you have enough rubber bands on there Sometimes throwing a couple extra on there makes it a little bit easier in case you break one in the middle and you're in a rush. So, now that we're done stowing our lines, we would be able to make sure, double check that that pilot chute is cocked, which it is, and we can go ahead and put the bag into the container and close it up. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you learned some new tips for your next pack job. Let's keep nice tight lines during our flaking, proper slider positioning, and nice tight even line stows. Let us know how it goes, and remember, there's more to a good pack job than a finished one.